Hi guys, so today we're going to be doing absolute value inequality. So we're going to go back to talking about what these inequalities mean. So here, consider the following. So this one, the absolute value of x is less than 3. So if you remember here, this means that the distance from 0, right, before it was equal to 3, this time the distance from 0 is less than 3. Okay? So let's go 3 away. 1, 2, 3, positive, that's right here. If we go to the left, 1, 2, 3, that's here at negative 3. Okay? If we want the distance to be less than that, it has to be everything in between. And what we realize is that this is an and inequality, right? So what this ends up being, when we have a less than, our answer for our absolute value is going to be what we learned is an and inequality, okay? So when you have your absolute value is less than, it will be an and inequality. Okay, so let's look at the other one here. So here, absolute value of x is greater than 3. So what does this mean? This means that my distance from 0 is now greater than 3. Okay, so here is 0. If I go 3 away, 1, 2, 3 to the right. If I go 3 to the left, 1, 2, 3, that is negative 3 here. But this time, I want where it's further away. It's further than 3 away. And so what we realize, all these numbers are further than 3 spaces away from 0. Everything on this side is greater than 3 spaces away. And so what we end up having is x is less than negative 3, right? That's this side, less than here because, or x is greater than 3. And so what we see is that when we have greater, this is an or inequality. Okay? So let's solve this. Okay? So here are some examples. So here I have 5x minus 2 is less than 3. Okay. So here, my absolute value already is by itself, so I'm going to split it. Okay, so 1 is 5x minus 2 is less than 3. Okay, so since the absolute value is less than, it is going to be an and inequality, right? When our distance, our absolute value is less than, it will be an and inequality. And, okay. Then we want the opposite. So this was the right side. We want the left side. Okay. So same thing as before, we're going to now do the negative of it. Less than 3. Okay. And so let's solve. Okay. So I'm going to add 2 on both sides. Okay. Negative 2 plus 2 is 0, so 5x plus 0 is just 5x. 3 plus 2 is 5. Okay. Then, since this is 5 times x, I'm going to get rid of the times 5 by dividing by 5. 5 divided by 5 is 1, so 1x is less than 5 divided by 5 is 1. Okay. Then let's solve the other one. So here, again, I'm going to get rid of this negative that is being multiplied by dividing by negative 1. Okay. That gets rid of it, leaves me with that positive. Okay. However, remember, this is an inequality. I just divided by a negative number. What that tells me is I need to flip that sign. So instead of this less than now, it will be a greater than. And instead of that 3 divided by negative 1, that will be a negative 3. Okay. And so once I have that, I solve it like I normally would. So add 2 on both sides. Negative 2 plus 2 is 0, leaving me with 5x greater than. Negative 3 plus 2 is negative 1. I'm going to get rid of that times 5 by dividing by 5 here. 5 divided by 5 is 1x, and then negative 1/5. Okay, so here it is x is less than 1 and x is greater than negative 1/5. Okay, so let's graph this. Okay. So 1 is here, let's say negative 1/5 is here. So I want x is less than 1. So open circle going to the left. Okay. X greater than negative 1/5. Open circle greater than going to the right. Okay, however, remember, this is an and inequality, which means I want where they overlap. If it's and, I want where they overlap. And so here, my actual graph would be where the green and blue are. It'd be right here. Okay. So this is one way of solving it. Another way of solving it, what you can do is once you have the absolute value by itself, you can set it into your thing. Okay, so here let me do it in green. So another way, right, because when you divide by that negative 1, you would get that negative 3. You can put what you had in the absolute value in the middle, and then on the other side is that positive, right? So for the and inequality, one way to do it is instead of splitting it up into 2, you can do it as 1 and do it all at once, right? So one is the negative side, one is the positive side. The absolute value thing is in the middle. Remember, when we do it like this, our absolute value bars go away. Okay, and so I can solve it now. Minus 2, get rid of it by adding 2 on both sides. Negative 3 plus 2 is negative 1, 5x. Negative 2 plus 2 is 0, so plus 0, no need to write it. And then 3 plus 2 is 5. Then, since this is 5 times x, I'm going to get rid of the times 5 by dividing by 5. This gives me negative 1/5. 5 divided by 5 is 1, so now I have 1x. 5 divided by 5 is 1. And as you can see, that is the same as the graph. That x is everything in between negative 1/5 and 1. Right? So either you can do it as two separate ones, but connected with and, or you can write it as a single inequality here. Okay? So let's do this one. So again, before I split anything, I need my absolute value by itself. So right now I still have the minus 8 and the 3 here. So I'm going to get rid of the minus 8 by adding 8. Okay. Negative 8 plus 8 is 0. So 3 times the value of x plus 6 is greater than or equal to 12. Okay. Then, since this is 3 times the absolute value, I got to get rid of it. So that way my absolute value is by itself. 3 divided by 3 is 1. So leaves me with the absolute value of x plus 6. 12 divided by 3 is 4. Okay? Because this is a greater than, right? So again, less than is and. Greater is or. Okay? So how I remember less than and. Greater or. Okay, so here, now that my absolute value is by itself, it's greater, so this is going to be and or inequality. Okay, so one of them is going to be x plus 6 is greater than or equal to 4, and then or. Then the left side would be negative of the x plus 6 is greater than or equal to 4. Again, when you split it, the absolute value signs go away. Okay, so now all we have to do is solve. Subtract 6 here. You get x is greater than or equal to negative 2. Okay. Here I'm going to get rid of the negative that is being multiplied by dividing by negative 1. This leaves me with x plus 6. Again, we divided by a negative here, so this greater than now turns into a less than or equal to. 4 divided by negative 1 is negative 4. Okay, still not done. X is not by itself, so subtract 6. 6 minus 6 is 0, leaving me with x plus 0. Negative 4 minus 6 is 10. So here, my answer is x is greater than or equal to negative 2. That's my right side. Or x is less than or equal to negative 10. Okay? And here I'm going to graph it. Since it's an or, I want both sides. I don't need where it overlaps. I want both. So here is negative 10. Here is negative 2. X is greater than or equal to negative 2. So close circle because equal to, and then to the right where it's greater. X is less than or equal to negative 10. So close circle because of the equal to, less than, so to the left. Okay? And here is my answer. That's it for today. Have a great rest of the day. Bye, guys.